Hello, I'm Sarah Prestridge from Griffith University in Queensland, Australia. This video is about teachers' thoughts on remote learning. This series is part of a bigger series where we're looking at supporting teachers and students when we're in lockdown periods, but also pushing the ideas around online learning and what that might look like for schools. So let's focus on the wider research and literature around what teachers thought about remote learning. So if we look at an agreement scale with agree at the top and disagree down the bottom, it was agreed that quality learning can be achieved through remote teaching and that students can produce the same quality of work when they learn remotely. However, teachers didn't agree or disagree with the idea that students had the necessary physical resources to learn remotely. So that was on that unsure or non-agreement level. In the disagreement quadrant, we had good teaching can be facilitated wholly online. Students have the skills to stay on task when learning remotely. Students are not missing out when learning remotely, and remote teaching can be just as good as classroom-based teaching. So if teachers were disagreeing with that, it brings forward the idea that there is a disconnect between what we consider online learning and how we're thinking about it in regard to classroom practice. So we understand the fact that good teaching might be a bit of them both, and how we're actually moving towards that blended learning, I think, is the interesting part of what we now consider schooling to look like. Teachers did identify the fact that students don't have the skills to learn online. There was a strong disagreement there, and that really doing everything fully in these remote periods, they're going to feel that the students are missing out on learning in those remote modes of schooling. Now here we're looking at a comparison between teachers' ideal practices and their actual practices, and they're colour-coded against roles that teachers have when they design an online learning environments. There's 4 different roles. The blue is the managerial role. The orange is the technical role. The green is the social role. And the yellow is the pedagogical role. So the ideal practices teachers believe focus on managerial and technical roles, their roles. So supporting students to clearly communicate instructions and expectations, help students become comfortable with tech tools, technical tools to facilitate learning, and creating detailed schedules of daily or weekly tasks. So ideally, teachers were saying that their practices were orientated to these managerial and technical roles in online learning environments, not necessarily the pedagogical roles and the notions that social relationship role was secondary to those more managerial technical roles. Actual practices, we saw managerial and the bringing forward the pedagogical role and again the technical role. So we had very strongly that capacity that teachers focused on clearly communicating instructions and expectations with creating detailed schedules of daily or weekly tasks. Those ideas around collaborative learning, real-time engagement and creatively using technology to engage students was not in a focal point at this stage. For more videos, please go to our YouTube channel on the Griffith University website. Please contact me if you have any further questions. But these ideas open up lots of discussion and lots of directions for how we think about online learning and where we need to think about restructuring our designs and also the opportunities it brings with classroom related activities. Thank you.